Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realness with three S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my beautiful co-host, Rachna. How are you today, Rachna?
Good. How are you, Chantele?
I am pretty good. I am pretty excited to start our new adventure together, that being the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So you are new to this franchise. What do you feel about, you've been doing some research, some homework, watching last season, I believe.
Yes.
How is your introduction into this new group of women, this new setting? And if you could maybe do a little bit of a comparison with how you were feeling about New Jersey.
Yeah, these are good questions. I'm a bit confused about some things that they argue about. Like, I'm not sure what exactly is being fought over.
Such as?
Well, like in last night's episode.
Like, I'll explain that part.
Yeah, like I get that Sutton was being insensitive. I get that. But like just the way that they're just so petty sometimes. Like I just feel like when we talk about the specifics, I'll go into more. I'm just like, what's going on? Like, what is, or like somebody says, like sometimes Erica says things and I'm just like, what? Like, I think I just like, maybe I don't watch with full enough attention, or yeah, I don't know. But I'm enjoying the opulence. I'm enjoying the like, the decadence, their houses, the kinds of trips they take, the outfits. I'm enjoying all that. I think what I've realized is, for me, the Housewives is a different experience when watching it as a marathon versus watching an episode a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easier to be invested when you are watching 10 episodes in a day. 5 or whatever. Okay. I did watch 8 episodes, the first 8 episodes of season 11 in one day.
Wow. Oh, you went back. Okay, so 11. Yeah, so sorry, that was the season before.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, I didn't intend to do
I mean, I thought that last season was a pretty entertaining season.
Yes, it really was.
And if moving along in that way must have been, that must have been enjoyable for you to kind of get caught up and just see everything all at once.
Yeah. I feel like the characters are more enjoyable for me than New Jersey. Like on New Jersey, there's no one character that I'm like always going to be on her side, but I think I have that on Beverly Hills.
Let's hear. Who are you a fan of? Whose side do you seemingly feel as though you're on right at this point?
Sutton.
Yeah, yes, there's something about Sutton, which is the name of episode 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I like Sutton. I like Garcelle.
I like Garcelle.
In the beginning of season 11, I liked Crystal. And at this point, I'm not the biggest fan of Crystal. And everybody else, and I like Diana. She's a new introduction.
Really? I dislike her a lot.
I mean, what I like about her is that, like, she's just so rich that, like, she seems to be out of touch. And I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is her putting it on just to be like, I'm so rich, I don't know what it's like to be in a store anymore. Like, I don't know, what that is. And so, I do just like the fact that either she's faking that or that's how she actually is. But regardless, I think that it's fascinating. So I like her. I think it's just because it's a new personality to bring into the mix. But other than that, I'm not the biggest fan of everybody else, but I appreciate what they bring, especially because they always just look so good. Like, I'm always like, oh, you guys got some good outfits. Oh, you guys had some good glam. And so it's definitely visual eye candy, this whole franchise, as opposed to Jersey. It's not as visually stimulating.
I'm very sad that Kathy is not back because I think she is amazing television.
I think she'll be friend of, obviously, like her sister is Kyle. So I do feel like she'll be involved a little bit.
But do you know why she's not a housewife this season?
I did know. I'm wondering if it was the amount of money that she wanted. I can't remember.
Really?
I know she's super rich.
I can't imagine that being.
I can't. Maybe I'm making that up.
Also, like, Okay, fair.
I could be making that up, but like
No, that seems legitimate, I guess.
because she doesn't care, so maybe she's like, give me $2 million an episode and I'll do it, but
Yeah,
like maybe she just like doesn't really care to do it.
yeah.
I had to do some research to remind myself of that. So today we're going to be talking about episode 1, 2, and 3 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 12. And it starts off with the break-in. And I was like, oh, wait, hadn't I already seen this? Because last in the reunion shows, that's about the timeline when the actual break-in happened. And so I just remember it being going on in the news. So I felt like it was already covered. So it was interesting seeing it again and seeing everybody's perspective. How did you feel about the break-in and knowing that this is kind of the foundation for the season?
Well, Rina and Dorit are my least favorite people on this show.
Rina and Dorit?
Yeah, like I despise them.
Whoa.
And I kind of just feel like, well, where's your security system, Dorit? Like, obviously, a break-in is horrible, and what happened to her is horrible, and it should never happen to anybody. That's all I had to say about that.
I know there were rumors. Like, I obviously don't want to invalidate anybody's experience. I don't know, what actually happened, and if she's going to claim that happened, I'll believe her. But there were rumors that it was staged.
I didn't know that. Like, I believe that it happened, but I just kind of am like, how do you flaunt your stuff on a reality show about being rich and then not have an adequate security system? That's what I'm confused about.
Yes, and she does usually do like her, appearances from her closet or something where it does show everything that she has. And we learn in episode 3 that Kyle has also had a break-in, and so it's not unfamiliar for these women to have been targeted by people that have seen their houses and their homes on these shows, and so you would think that they would have bumped up their security in order for that not to be something. It just seemed like super easy for them to walk up, break a glass, enter some other way. They were able to leave her phone on at the gate.
Yeah.
Like it seemed very easy for them to be able to do this.
Yeah. So going back to the rumors though, is it just for the storyline? Like, why do people feel like
maybe for insurance, maybe for I think PK was also in some, maybe to deflect from some other questionable things that might be going on.
Oh, is there some questionable thing going on?
I don't remember specifically because obviously this was like 6 to 8 months ago. But I believe it was to maybe deflect some other things that might have been going on, and then also storyline and maybe insurance stuff. But I'll do some more research on that and see if I can come back with you with a stronger answer. What did you feel about it? I felt it was really convenient that she, was able to should have, as you said, great security. If you have millions of dollars of things in your home, wouldn't you have adequate security? Like my brother used to produce music, and he had $20,000 stereo sound system in the basement where he had his studio, and he would have people coming over and recording stuff all the time. And so they cased the joint, and eventually they broke in and they stole a lot of his shit. And after that, we got security, and it's never happened since. Yeah. So it's just very surprising that people that have way more money than we did, that they were able to, and more access as well, because I'm sure they live in some sort of gated community where there might be even people patrolling or something like that. So the fact that people were able to do this seemingly very easily, like they were just strolling up there, like it was a easy peasy business. So that's maybe why people are thinking that maybe it was an inside job. They didn't seem to have any urgency or any anyway. So not sure what exactly happened there. But I'll do some more investigation to see whether or not, or what the other statements are, where they came from.
Yeah.
So We do see obviously little clips of everything else, like getting Paris's wedding invite to Kyle and Maurizio. I
Mhm.
think Maurizio's very handsome. I'm like,
Yeah, I think so too. And
he's
he's likable as well.
he's likable. He's kind of funny. I'm a fan of him as a house husband.
Yeah.
Way better than Joe
Go
Georgia's.
Boger.
Georgia. um, he's Lisa, Rina, and Arit. Arit. Erica have a little moment where they're talking about being Dorit light, and this is all before they're knowing about Dorit's situation that's happening, and it is funny because like Lisa was making fun of Dorit a little bit by being like, "Oh, I'm wearing so much different like vintage Gucci and different Gucci pieces because Dorit is always wearing name brand,
Yeah.
showing everything that she has." So I think that this was them
Right.
laying that foundation for what was to come and what they're going to learn about. We see a little cute moment with Crystal and her daughter, which I like seeing her as a mom.
Yeah.
And then we see Sutton and Garcelle. They are in South Beach getting massages and talking about I like it deep and hard. I'm just like, Garcelle, Garcelle. And we'll talk a little bit more about their little trip together to South Beach. I found it really fascinating because they're both single and they're just talking about all these sexual things. And I just don't picture Sutton as a very sexual person. So there's like a little inference of a threesome. And I'm just like, I don't see that with Sutton at all. Like, how did you feel about these sexual conversations with Sutton and Garcelle?
I feel like Sutton is probably a very sexual person.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it was so brief that I didn't really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're over in South Beach for Angels for Humanity. This is an event that Garcelle is at least speaking at. I'm not sure what her direct correlation is with it, but it's supporting the children of Haiti. And so I thought that it was a nice way to see a little bit where Garcelle is from. We do later on see them having dinner with her sisters. One of them named Chantele. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Have my name brought into the franchise, spelled differently, of course. And I do appreciate that Garcelle supports her people from Haiti, and she does bring light to her culture. So I think she's a great addition to the very, very whitewashed Beverly Hills. I'm happy to see that she's bringing some color in there.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely. So we see a little bit about Lisa and Erica talking about Lisa's lipstick line. What's the name of it? Do you know what the name of it is? Lisa
Rina,
Lips?
is it Rina Lips? Rina Beauty. Rina Beauty.
Is that it? Okay, I couldn't remember it. I didn't rewind.
I think it's Rina Beauty.
All right, well, Rina Beauty. Apparently, it's a really good lip gloss. I watched Heather McDonald on Juicy Scoop, and she swears by it. She's like, it's such a good lip gloss, but I don't know if she's just like,
a Rina fan.
Yeah, fluffing the egos of the housewives, but she loves the lipstick. And then Erica's also talking about how she's like having some good sex. I'm like, not a fan of Erica. I don't want to hear about her sex life.
Yeah, I really don't.
At all. So the beginning of the storyline for the season is we see Sutton on Watch What Happens Live, where she's talking about a charity event of Elton John's that she ended up buying tickets for Lisa and Harry, and she didn't even receive much as a thank you. And the reason why this is kind of interesting and important is because all of last season, Rina was upset about that Garcelle apparently said that she was going to give $5,000 to something, and there was some sort of misunderstanding and it never happened. And so Lisa was just bad-mouthing Garcelle about it the whole time. And then B, about the tomato sauce that her husband made, that she said thank you when she received it, but didn't give a secondary thank you when she consumed it. So that was another plot point last season.
And also the birthday cake. She wasn't grateful enough for the birthday cake.
Like, how do you measure people's gratitude?
No, I think Lisa, Rina, and Kyle function on their own kind of measurement of what is acceptable manners and behavior and feelings, and they're just in this like really warped reality that none of the other women are in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
It's
they're like
so
the mean girls
frustrating.
of the group. Yeah.
Well, and it's just like I'm always like, "Shut up, Rina!" Like, and it's like
Yeah.
like she's always like pointing the finger and being like, "Well, tell us the truth."
Yeah.
Like you need to say this and stand up. Like it's always dictating how people are supposed to react and respond to situations that it isn't her. It isn't her life experience, and so a
Yeah.
lot of the time it becomes off as hypocritical. A lot of the times it comes off as like, who are you to get to
Yeah.
decide that? Oh my god, so I just saw a pop-up. Sorry, Ray Liotta just passed away, apparently. Wow, I'm
Who
sorry.
did?
Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. From Goodfellas. He was
Oh, okay.
67. I
Oh, wow.
just sorry, just breaking news.
That's
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I definitely was a fan of him in Goodfellas and other movies that I've seen him in. So that's very sad to hear. Sorry.
yeah.
So Garcelle decides to talk to Sutton about the Watch What Happens live, and you know that it's just going to start the snowball of, okay, this is what we're going to be talking about this episode, and probably many episodes to come, is this Watch What Happens live episode. So we see Sutton going to visit Crystal at Crystal's home. They're renovating for $500,000. I would love to renovate something for $500,000. Wouldn't that be just nice that you have that expendable income that you could just fix your basement
Yeah.
for $500,000?
Yeah, your basement for $500,000. Not your whole house, just your basement.
I mean, do you know what? In the States, though, basements aren't really a thing. So I guess that's why maybe it's a bigger deal. Usually there's not a basement. And so maybe that's why they actually have to
But is it a
go.
basement or just a lower level? Because all those houses have lower levels because they're all on hills.
True. I haven't seen if there's like a walkout or like a
Yeah, I
patio
feel like
door.
it's not really a basement. I feel like it's just a lower level.
That's possible. That they're fixing like there's floor.
Yeah.
Poor thing. So they do get to talking about what Sutton wants in a man, and she's dating now. She wants handsome, tall, and educated, and likes cats. I was like, likes cats is important because
That's a good one.
I heard that those that don't, we'll say men, or identifying as male, that don't like cats sometimes have some problems with their mom or their mother figure growing up. And so
wait,
I don't, some sort of psychological thing. I don't know where I've heard this, but I've been thinking about this for the last like 20 years. So
that's really interesting.
which I think it makes sense to me. I've asked a lot of people that say like, oh, I hate cats or I'm allergic to cats, that they have a problem with their mom, or their mom maybe neglected them, or they have like they don't speak to their mom, or they had problems with their moms growing up. So
allergies too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is interesting. This resonates in my own family.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, some sort of aversion to mother figure
I won't
growing
say
up.
more because I don't want to speak to other people's stories, but that resonates in my own family.
So just keep an eye out and look for it, and or look around, and you'll just see a little bit of a pattern there. So I don't know if it's like dogs and father figure. I haven't heard that, but cats and cats allergies with males. Yes, I've definitely noticed more people say yes, that is the truthful to them than no. So
okay.
Very interesting. So Erica and Garcelle are working out at Slay, and it's with Louise. So they were calling her Lulu. But Louise, she's actually she's an Olympic athlete from the UK, and she was on the challenge Champs versus Pros. And so I actually love Louise. Like at the age, I think she's drop dead gorgeous. She's a really fantastic athlete, and like I was really happy to see that she's making a really great name for herself in this world, because I'm sure she's getting paid a lot of money for this appearance on this season. So I was happy to see Slay and Lulu. So Garcelle, she is good. Definitely, yes. Louise Hazel, yes. Jelly Donut, Louise Hazel. It was made an appearance on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So Garcelle seems to be the pot stirrer this season so far. So she says to Erica that she thinks that Erica should apologize to Sutton. And this is for the fact that, what did you think about how Erica acted? And I think it was very threatening personally when she's like, I can't remember exactly what she said.
No, it was 100% a threat.
So what did she say? I know she says, or what?
I'm going to come after you.
Oh, I'm going to come after you.
And no, that's not a threat. That's a promise. That was 100% like threatening.
And so do you think, a lot of people were saying that Heather got her threat to Shannon by seeing this threat from Erica, because it obviously, I think she would have been able to see that season beforehand. You're watching Orange County, right? Or watched?
I did. Yeah.
That's not a threat. That's a promise. If you mess with me or my family, something, that's a promise.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me dislike Heather even more than I already disliked her, because it's like, you can't even come up with your own lines. You're going to steal them from Erica Girardi of all people.
Whoa. But yeah, Erica doesn't even know why. She's like, why do I? For what? Like, Erica, you know what for.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love how Garcelle and Sutton are so much like they just have each other's backs. And I don't think that was Garcelle stirring the pot as much as her standing up.
Bringing it up. She brings up a lot of things to clear the air, which I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I think also, like, I think Sutton does deserve an apology, and I think maybe Sutton needs that to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Erica owes a lot of people an apology, including all the victims of the Lion Air flight. Like, I heard about that flight obviously because with the airline I used to work on, I've definitely flown in many Air 747 Max, and so I know that plane, and I remember there was a lot of talk going on about it, how it went down and all the mechanics and the functionings of it. So I was like studying that crash a lot, and so I didn't even realize that was the plane crash, that he's taking the money from the victims and the families. Like, that's just like, it's unfathomable to me.
Yeah.
Like, that there's no, in my opinion, remorse. And so with Kyle and Rinna being the police on how people are supposed to react, why are they not policing Erica Jane's reaction to her situation that she's in?
Exactly. Yeah.
So annoying. We do see Dorit's kids training in karate, which I thought was really cute. Her sons are very, very cute. We see Dorit, or Garcelle calls. Wait, is this after, though? Did I miss the part of the break-in? Oh, I guess, when did they do the flashback? I'm sure I wrote it down. I'm just...
No, this is after the break-in, I think.
No, well, then it says later that night. So, yeah, so Garcelle calls during the day. Yes, because, then she talks about it after being like, I just called you in the morning or in the day. Right. So Garcelle calls and they're just kind of talking. I don't remember what they're talking about. I think maybe about her event that had just gone down. And Dorit and Garcelle haven't been friends. So it is nice to see that maybe they've repaired something to a functioning level as a housewife.
Right.
And then it says later on that night, we see the break-in news. We see it's 8 a.m. It was very ominous how they had it, like the actual footage from news feeds. And I feel like you could hear like the helicopters, and like it felt very, very reality TV. Like, it felt very real. And so it was 8 a.m. We see Lisa, Erica, and Kyle going over to Dorit's. And in the car, we see Lisa telling Crystal about the Dorit incident. And obviously Crystal is like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. How she explains what was going on it seems pretty traumatic. Kyle is crying over Dorit, and then Sutton shows up, and Sutton clearly doesn't react in the way that Kyle is deciding that she should react. Now, I don't fully agree with how Sutton reacts, but then I also have to what I was thinking when I was watching is like, but you know what, she might have had an experience and she doesn't know how to handle this situation being on camera and how to respond. So I was also like, I was surprised by her reaction, but then immediately after, I was like, she must have had some sort of experience that she's gone to allow her to be reacting in this way. So immediately I had compassion for her, even though I was surprised by her immediate reaction. Did you have any thoughts about this?
No, I just feel like, no, I feel like Kyle was having her own reaction because she has also been burglared, so she was maybe feeling triggered. And I was just like, Sutton's just being Sutton, and I love Sutton, and so I didn't analyze it further.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I was analyzing it just because I knew that this was going to be a contentious story point for the season. So I definitely picked up on it. Lisa and Crystal have a conversation and Daz, they're meeting there just to talk about Harry's 70th birthday. She feels like she hit the jackpot with Harry. I mean, Harry is a very handsome man. He definitely doesn't look what I would think 70 looks like.
Absolutely not.
I think he looks fabulous. So when I put the focus on, so she's not sure whether or not she should have the event, just because right now maybe the focus should be on Dorit and PK and what they're experiencing and going through. But later on, we do hear PK say, like, let's never cancel a good occasion in favor of a bad one. And so I do like that perspective, is like, don't change and go to dwell in something negative when you have something positive that's going to be celebrated. So I like that perspective.
Yeah.
So Kyle is talking to Sutton, and this is really where Sutton kind of puts her foot in her mouth with Kyle. They're talking about dating and whatnot, and Sutton was being a little bit seemingly shady, because she'd be like, I don't care about money. Like, she seemed like she was kind of antagonizing a bit of a response from Kyle, because Kyle was saying like how Erika Jayne was dating again, and Sutton was like, I make my own money, I don't need money.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, but I can see how Kyle was just kind of like, why are you acting like this?
No, I feel like it's true. It's like she doesn't care about money. She just wants a playboy that she can, like, you know, maybe not someone her equal, but someone who she can, like, have as a, you know, kept man or whatever. Like, why not?
True, it's true. So there's a flashback though of what Erika Jayne threats, and Dorit's like, am I supposed to be feeling sorry for Erika? Like, no, you're not supposed to be feeling sorry for Erika. And we see a clip of the husbands laughing. So Kyle's husband and Dorit's husband laughing at the stories that Erika was telling surrounding the events that she was going through, and they were inane. Like last season, I'm just like, this woman, like, do you really expect people to believe this and not question what you're saying? It's so outrageous. I was laughing with the men, like, being like, and then this happened. I'm like, finally, people are having the right, in my opinion, right response to Erika Jayne's accounts of what was going on in her life.
Yeah.
So Erika shows up at Kyle, and you hurt my feelings. What am I talking about there? Oh, with Maurizio. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So Kyle's having an event. I'm having everybody over. Obviously to invite Dorit over, and just having a moment just to kind of come together. And so Erika was the first to arrive. Maurizio comes in just to say hi, and you hurt my feelings. And Maurizio handles it very well, just being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." And he, like, hugs her and kisses her hand and stuff like that. And so I do agree. I very much like Maurizio. Lisa shows up next. and then Dorit comes and retells the story to Maurizio, and she kind of just goes into play by play as to what was happening, and it was pretty like unfortunate. And I wish that there was maybe some trigger warnings when they're talking about some of these incidences, especially in episode 3 and 2, where Sutton is mentioning what her father and what he had gone through, because I think that that could be triggering. But
Right.
hopefully people are able to, so trigger warning, we might be talking about things that might
Yeah.
put you in a place of distress. So PK is in England, and this is why Dorit was by herself with her kids when the situation happened. And so PK obviously is flying back home from LA. It's like a 9-hour flight minimum to the UK. And so when he gets to, I believe it was the airport, he calls Kyle, and Kyle's like, just come right to my house right away. We're all here. So of course, Dorit is happy to see PK, hugging him, kissing him, or whatever. He comes and joins the girls. And they kind of retell the situation a little bit. And is that where, at one point, I might not have written it down, but I thought that it was nice that Garcelle showed up at some point, gave a crystal and some sage for Dorit. And I thought that was a nice gesture, because crystals definitely break up any negative energy, and same with sage, it also moves around the energy. So I don't particularly like the smell of sage. I prefer Palo Santo, but I thought it was a nice gesture that she did. So PK does say that little thing that I was talking about with, because Lisa is worried about maybe wanting to cancel her husband's birthday party, but PK does not want that to happen. He doesn't want to replace a joyous event with a sad one. And so Lisa is going to continue having the birthday party for Harry. Eventually, Dorit and PK leave, and then she's outside, and PK forgot her phone, and she's kind of just breaking down a little bit, like kind of being by herself and phone. And I feel bad for her. I do feel bad for her, but that's the end of episode 1. So how do you feel about the first episode of this new season?
It feels like a blur. I watched it 2 days ago.
Okay, me too. I watched that one a while ago as well. So episode 2, though, is the repeat offender. Now I'm thinking time-wise, maybe we can go through this episode, and then do you want to pop on tomorrow and do episode 3?
Sure. Yeah.
Would that be better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do episode 2 today, and then finish off with episode 3 tomorrow. So then I didn't need to finish watching.
Oh wait, no, sorry. Did you say tomorrow?
Or another time? What do you mean?
Sorry, I misunderstood what you said.
Oh, I did say tomorrow.
No, let's do it all today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try to do our best. Okay, so Diana is a new housewife, and so we get all the openings. What do you think of the openings? I meant to go back and write down what they all said, but I love them in their red dresses. Any of them stand out?
Yeah, there was one that stood out, and I thought it was terrible, and now I can't remember which one it is.
Was it Erica's?
What was Eric? What was
Erica's was like about. I can't remember right now.
I mean, it probably was terrible, but it's not the one that I'm thinking of. I think I didn't like Diana's. I think it might have been Rinna's that I really didn't like. It was either Rinna's or Dorit's. It just seemed really flat.
I'm going to see if I can pull that up in a second. Opening phrases, is that what we'll call them?
Taglines?
Taglines. Okay. I'll come back to that. But I definitely love the red dresses that they were wearing. And we didn't get the tagline, like that whole thing in the first episode. It was just kind of like right into the break-in. And so I did like seeing like, okay, there's the opening. And I did appreciate learning about Diana, who's going to be joining this cast. Now, have you heard of Diana Jenkins before this?
No, but I did Google her.
Oh, tell me. Do tell.
I mean, she comes from nothing, and then she married a wealthy British banker.
True.
I mean, there's nothing that interesting, but apparently she's like an it girl, and apparently she's an it girl.
Yeah, I didn't know I've heard of her name, but I didn't really know who she was. And you don't like her, you said? I think I enjoy her. I think I like that she's just someone richer than these other women. I kind of like that. She has a little bit more status, whether it's nouveau riche or not. Like I do like that. You know, it seems like there's a little bit of status between these women on who has the most money and who has old money and who has like, you know, generational wealth and all that stuff. And I think she's just so rich and so over the top that it might just, you know, make people feel a certain type of way. So I actually like that. Man,
Diana,
they have
okay,
all the.
so I found them. Diana's is the only thing better than having it all is having even more.
Okay. Okay, what's the rest of them?
So actually, none of them bother me. Crystal's is they say talk is cheap, but in Beverly Hills it can cost you. Sutton's is if you want a seat at my table, you best mind your manners, which I think is so good. Garcelle, I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine. Dorit, you can take all my things and you won't have taken a thing that matters. Erica, I have nothing to hide and nothing to lose, and that makes me dangerous.
I don't really understand though.
I think she has a lot to hide.
A lot to hide.
Yeah. Okay. This is Lisa's. Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch. Yeah, that one I don't like.
Well, and it's just kind of like, oh, so that's her role is to go and call people out on things that she doesn't have the right to call people out about. Yes.
Yeah. And Kyle is when you're the real deal, you don't have to pretend. Yeah, exactly.
But I do like just these taglines in general. We should come up with taglines of our own.
I think we should. Yeah.
Okay, for next week, let's have a tagline that we'll say like, "Hi, I'm Chantele," and or something.
Okay.
I was on another podcast and I did one. They asked me to do a tagline, and I believe I said, "I may be the best tarot reader in town, but I don't need cards to read you."
So that is so
good. So let's think of one for next week. That's super fun. So we see, I believe it's Dorit and her husband, PK, talking about the incident, about how the LAPD wants to fully prosecute the case. As far as I've heard, they have not found the perpetrators of this break-in. So that's interesting. How have they not found these people that were just like lollygagging and like going up and burglarizing someone and walking down the street with a sheet full of designer bags? Like, how does that happen? To be fair, though, well, this was at my brother also had his car stolen at one point, and they didn't find it for a long time, but they did find it eventually. So I just like, how do they not find these things? I don't know. I feel like
don't like people in these kinds of houses have like security systems where if something like a break-in happens, like security shows up, or like the gated community alarm goes off and then nobody can leave the gated community. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's something about it that's like, isn't that the whole point of living in those gated communities or in rich areas?
That's what I thought. Like, my dad in Vegas lived in a gated community, and it would be very difficult for somebody to break in without somebody seeing something. Yeah. And like, if you're going to climb over like the main gate, like you would see someone climb over this, like a high gate. And then there's like a patrol that goes around everyone's. So I just don't understand how they would be able to avoid all that, avoid people seeing something, hearing something. Like, it's just, it is shocking to me. And that they haven't found them. Like, what are you guys doing? So that's also probably why people are like, is it an inside job that, like, you know, they're able to get away so easily? I don't know. We do learn that Dorit's father was a paratrooper in the Israeli army, and so he kind of taught her about a bee incident where, not to be scared of a bee, to, don't flail around because that's what actually would agitate the bee and you'd get stung. And so he shows her that holding the bee by the wing, and she was still and no longer afraid of bees. And I thought that was it's very truthful, because I was in a situation once where I had to really be still and calm in order for me to not get hurt. And it actually is very effective when the fight or flight instincts turn right on, and the sense of calmness of just really not doing anything to agitate the situation. It's a truth thing. So I do think that is truthful, how she probably handled the situation, is being really calm and getting them, take what you want. I don't want any fights. Please just stay away from my children, all that stuff. So it's very traumatic, though. I'm so sorry that if this is true, that she went through this. So we see Lisa and Kyle at the restaurant. Lisa orders a tomato soup with grilled chicken salad. And then Kyle also wants a grilled chicken salad. They're each having a glass of Chardonnay, 2 iced teas. How are you with Chardonnays?
Not my fave.
Not my fave, especially what they're probably drinking, a buttery oaky Chardonnay.
Yeah, not at all my style.
Obviously, I like a nice crisp Chablis, which is an unoaked Chardonnay.
Yeah, I'll drink Chablis any day.
Yes, but buttery oaky, no buena.
But all of the women on even all of Selling Sunset, all of these California reality shows, they all just are like, I'll have a Chardonnay.
It's disgusting. It's not my flavor profile at all. And sometimes I taste the ones that they're delicious, and I'm like, have you just conditioned yourself to enjoy this because it's not tasty?
Yeah, it's their palate. That's what their palate is used to.
Yeah, it's not my palate at all. We see Crystal and Sutton getting crepe cakes. Have you ever had a crepe cake or a pancake cake?
I have actually had a crepe cake from that same, at a New York location. But yes, I have had a crepe cake from that same, what is it called? Millie B or something like that? Matt, whatever that one is called. They have locations all over. They actually also ship to Canada, and they're very good.
So we should bring as a surprise next time we do our little watch party for one of the episodes, or when we do
there is also a store downtown that you can get them. Not that company, but there is, and they are very good. I remember getting them a couple years ago.
Let's bring a crepe cake to our next Housewives event. Yeah, that's fun. Okay.
I love that.
So back to Lisa and Kyle. Lisa is still not thrilled, obviously, about what happened live. She's like, Elton invited them. They're invited every year. And so we see Andy seeing a comment that Lisa says that she was invited by Elton John. And so I'm still not fully sure what's going on with this particular story. So we did next see Lisa chatting with Harry with the glam spot. So everybody's starting to get ready. We're seeing little vignettes, everybody getting ready for Harry's 70th birthday party. Diana, we learned that she's from Bosnia or from Sarajevo, and she had a baby at 47, I believe, which is wild. We do also learn later that she has a grown son that's 22 and a daughter that's 19, but then she also has a baby that's around 1 year old. So that is pretty wild. Baby at 47.
That is wild.
So Lisa and Harry are first at the event. They're really organizing the seating plan. They want Sutton over at the end because they're both just not happy with Sutton. What do you think of Lisa's yellow pantsuit?
I just dislike everything Lisa wears, and every look of hers is just not my style.
Every look at her is not great, but I do like her confessional look.
Which confessional look?
Long hair, kind of dynasty.
No, it's too extra for me. I just don't. Like extra, but I just feel like I just feel like every time I see her, I'm like, who is that? Like, it's just not ever the same. It's just never the same person that shows up for me.
Right.
There's no consistency. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that that's what her brand is, that she's always going to be wearing wigs. She's always going to be wearing interesting outfits. I just
But
thought the yellow, like, I thought that she could look a lot better than that yellow
yes,
pantsuit.
I agree. I feel like of all of her outfits, the yellow one is probably one on the worst. It's in the worst category. For your husband's 70th birthday, I feel like you make more effort.
So en route is Kyle, Maurizio, and PK and Dorit, and they're all driving together. And Kyle is still not happy with Sutton, and she relays the fact that Sutton said, "Well, at least I didn't have I didn't have a gun to my head,"
Yeah.
and so PK is obviously now pissed at Sutton, and just how, like, so Dorit went through something really traumatic. To bring up people's responses
Yeah,
to the situation, how is that being supportive of
yeah,
Dorit?
that's stirring the pot. Like Kyle is just like, yeah, that was a bad move on Kyle's part.
Oh, hi, DM Ross. DM Ross likes Garcelle, but she needs a new stylist. I think she does a better job though than Rinna.
I agree. I
I
agree.
like
Hi,
some of
DM
her
Rocks.
looks more,
Yeah.
definitely, but she could use a new one maybe. But I think Lisa Rinna really, really needs one.
But I think the thing about Garcella is she doesn't care that much.
Right.
And Rinna really cares. Like
That's true.
Rinna really cares as much as Dorit cares.
That is true. So Sutton is traveling with Crystal. So Crystal and her husband. And then at the event, so Erica, Lisa, and Harry are having conversations about like threesomes and stuff like that. And that's another visual I really didn't want to see. You want to see Harry, Lisa Rinna, and Erica Jane in some sort of threesome?
No, like it's just desperate.
Yeah, maybe this is the Desperate Housewives, the Beverly Hills edition.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, yeah.
And then the petty queen herself has spaghetti bolognese on the menu, and make sure that she tells this, or well, actually Harry tells this to Garcelle when she gets there, or both of them, or whatnot. Like, can we leave the tomato sauce alone?
Yeah.
Like,
I
anyways,
know. It's so petty.
like it's a 70th birthday party. Really, you need to have spaghetti? Like, I would personally would like to have something a little bit more
Something that you don't make at home
extravagant.
all the time.
Yeah, like spaghetti, tomato, meat sauce. Like, come on. So Sutton walks in first with Crystal. You see Sutton chatting with Garcelle, and they're kind of between two groups. So on one side we have Harry and Lisa, and I don't know, probably Erica, and then the other side is I think it was wait, Erica was on the other side. Anyways, there's two groups of people that Sutton did not want to talk to, and she's just kind of standing there in the middle. And Garcelle's like, "Oh, who are you gonna go to? Who are you gonna talk to?" And Sutton does not want to engage with either side of the room. And I don't disagree with her.
Yeah, I can't fault her.
Definitely can't. So okay, so DM Rocks is here for us with some tea. So Fancy Dorit faked the robbery because she was supposed to be fired after last season. Okay, that's what your reason is.
Okay, so why? Okay, so she was supposed to be fired. Then why was it filming? Oh, I guess it filmed like. Why was she supposed to be fired?
Maybe she was a friend of
Okay.
like this season supposed to be, and
Okay.
then the robbery happened. They're like, let's give you a pay upgrade. So maybe she learned about her not being renewed and then stages the robbery, and then that was all going on around the reunion.
Is that all it takes to get back on the show, is being robbed?
Oh, did you know what it was? The reunion happened was airing, but it happened in real life at around that time. So maybe then she got renewed as a housewife. Thanks, DM Rocks. We're gonna do some more investigating about this because that's brutal.
I mean, she should be fired. She's terrible.
Some of her looks are not bad though. Some of
I
them.
mean, they're tacky.
I kind of like tacky sometimes, but maybe on me more so.
Fair.
I kind of like gaudy tacky. So we have the menu for the evening. So it's going to be a burrata salad with figs and artichokes and arugula, a saffron risotto, which I'm assuming is going to be some kind of like a paella, and then the spaghetti bolognese. It doesn't really follow this menu.
Yeah.
Like maybe burrata salad, whatever. Like salad is fine, but having like a saffron risotto and then having spaghetti, like there's no. Anyways, it doesn't float for me. And then
Well,
fresh berries and cream
it's
for the
all
dinner.
Italian. It's all Italian.
I guess. I guess having rice and then having pasta, I just don't feel like that really makes sense to me. But whatever, they said yes to that menu, but like a nice piece of fish would have been like as the main. You could do an Italian style, but I just felt that spaghetti bolognese as a main when you just had risotto doesn't really make sense to me.
So yeah, do they not have anything after the spaghetti?
Fresh berries and cream.
Oh, that's a bad dessert too. I mean, that's great, but that can't be the only dessert.
That's what the menu said.
Was there a birthday cake?
We didn't see it on the episode.
Yeah, we didn't. Anyway,
so Erica Jane being fake is like, "Are you going to introduce me?" And so she's sitting beside Lisa, and Lisa's sitting beside Diana. Erica's pretending like she likes getting to know new people, but you could tell that she's really just sizing up Diana. And we do see in like the season-long preview is that Diana is going to go toe to toe with Erica Jane.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, she's just what, you need a new villain? I could be a new villain. Like, she's like not allowing Miss Erica Jane to bully her at all. And so I'm here for that. Maybe that's why I also have a liking towards her. It's kind of like Erica Jane gets away with too much. She's so unlikable to me. I want someone to put her in her place. So I'm glad that it's somebody that I think is prettier than Erica Jane is, has way more money than Erica Jane has right now. Dresses and looks better than Erica Jane. And
I mean, they all have more money than her, but they're just not strong enough to stand up to her.
Right, exactly. And seemingly strong enough to stand up to her. Exactly. So Lisa makes a toast about, Harry and her beautiful husband. And he says that, he's the lucky one. And there's a lot of rumors going on about Harry. So that's also, it's just very interesting that, how much you're like, oh, I love my husband and we're in such a great relationship. But the rumor has it is that Harry has a gay lover here in Ontario. And so I'm curious about, the validity of that and maybe how open their relationship actually is. But I do appreciate the fact that they've been together for almost 30 years. And I love seeing the flashbacks of Harry when he was like around 40. I thought he was very cute, even with his long shaggy hair.
Yeah, I think so too.
So Asher, we learn who Asher is. So Asher is Diana's husband. And I was like, he looks mighty young. No judgment, but mighty. Wait,
he's in his 30s.
It's Sutton who goes into. Oh no. Okay, that changes my opinion completely. Are you sure?
I mean, that makes more sense because Diana's already going after Sutton.
That's true in episode 3.
Yeah.
Dang. I really thought it was. I mean, I guess I just watched it in a blip. I've been basing my entire opinion on the fact that I thought it was Erica Jane. Okay, thank you, DM. So yes, he looks quite young. We learned that he is a musician and he's been in Broadway since he was young. Did you research him at all?
No, absolutely do not care about him, but he is her kept man. That's, I think Erica wants to be Diana.
Possibly.
Like Diana made her money from being with a wealthy banker, and Erica wants to make her money from being with a wealthy lawyer. Like she wants a settlement in that divorce.
Absolutely. Well, she said, I want nothing. I want nothing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. Why would you want nothing after all those years of being with someone?
Absolutely.
That's absolutely stupid. Especially someone who was abusive and controlling.
Well, and that you apparently gave all your money to, and so, like, how about the money that you made then,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
these years?
Exactly. Yeah.
So Sutton at the table apologizes for what happens live, and they kind of get into it. And Sutton has the receipts because basically what Lisa says was that her publicist said that Sutton canceled the table, and but then they both still went. And Sutton has the receipts that she paid $11,000 for Lisa and Harry's seats. So
Yeah.
I didn't understand Lisa's response, considering the fact that she did go to the event still.
Yeah. And sat at the same table with Sutton, right?
Yes. Well, that wasn't made clear, but it seems so.
Yeah, like there were a lot of things there are a lot of things like that just don't there's pieces missing that I'm like, I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but I feel as though Sutton like she paid $11,000 for something, and they
These
both went to the
seats.
event,
Yeah, for Harry and Lisa.
and they went to the event, and
Yeah.
they didn't say thank you for it. So, like, all these things, those are the facts that Sutton is saying.
Yeah.
And Lisa, she can't say thank you because she thought that she was a guest of Elton John and she did an interview for IMDb so she can get a seat at the table.
Yeah.
Anyways, a little bit sketch.
So,
Um,
did you notice how Diana was like, "Oh, it's really classless to be talking about this stuff"?
yeah, I did. And I was like, yeah, do you know what show you're on?
I know. That's what I was like, "You think it's classy to be on a show that is about being wealthy?" Like, what a stupid comment to input in a conflict that you're new here, okay? You don't know how this works. Shut up.
Agreed. Like, you'll have your turn, lady. Um, so they think it's embarrassing. This is embarrassing, son. It's embarrassing. I didn't actually think it was that embarrassing, but Garcelle is not
Yeah,
here for
how
it.
is it all of a sudden embarrassing? Because Lisa's trying to be like Diana, like you don't have a problem talking about this shit in every other context. Why is it embarrassing right now?
Because she brought out the actual receipts.
Please.
I'm like, I love a good receipt. Thank
Oh
you for being
yeah,
the receipt offender, Miss
exactly.
Sutton. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Garcelle gets up to leave, and Sutton is going to be leaving at the same time. And Garcelle kind of is just like, she doesn't want to be part of this like petty bullshit. She doesn't want to have this conversation. And DM Rocks, I agree with you. DM Rocks was proud of Sutton for standing up to Erica because last season she used to run away from her. Absolutely. I'm team Sutton because they love like grouping together and ganging up on someone.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate Sutton not allowing them to do that to her so far this season. So I agree. Team Sutton and Garcelle all the way. But then Garcelle calls out Erica for playfully when she decides to sit down because Lisa's like, no, I can get over it. Like, I can move on. Like, don't leave. Like, just just stay. Like, I can move on. And so Garcelle decides to sit down, but she starts poking playfully at Erica, thinking that she needs to. What did she say? Like, be nice or play nice. I just should have written it down. I thought I remember.
I forget.
But Kyle in her confessional thinks this reconciliation is phony because it seems like, Lisa and Sutton came to some sort of an agreement. They both decide to stay, but Kyle thinks it's phony. And it's like, of course, Kyle thinks it's phony.
Yeah.
Because it probably is on Lisa's side of things. So we see Diana's house. We see her son, Innes, who's 22 years old. Asher is only 33, we learn. Leah, her stylist, is there. And Pearl is the name of her dog. And her little baby is Eliana. We hear about her life story, which was really interesting, that she got $250 million in the divorce. I was like, that's a pretty good divorce. Like, wow. Yeah. And she met her ex, as you mentioned, in London. So we learned a little bit about her. Her house is pretty gorgeous. I was like, I wouldn't mind living her life. It seems pretty awesome. Next, we see Kyle and Sutton. They're at a store in LA, and they're pulling some garments from a Parisian designer, and they talk about Dorit being a Francophile and loving, Paris, and bringing in this designer in. And that's where I stopped taking notes for this episode. Did anything else happen after this that I missed?
I can't remember if it did.
I don't think so. But let's just talk about episode 3. Really quickly, there is something about Sutton. So who do you think we're going to be talking about all this episode?
Sutton. Yay.
Mm-hmm. So all the women except for Sutton are at Crystal's house. They're talking about how they're going to be opening up, Kyle's opening up another store. So Dorit gives herself the excuse, goes to excuse herself, and they're all just talking about the fact that, she's been having anxiety and panic attacks, and they were just speaking about Dorit's situation, and Kyle obviously decides to take it upon herself to explain her conversation with Sutton to the girls when Sutton isn't there. And I do like how Garcelle said, I think that we should wait and have this conversation about Sutton when Sutton is here, instead of like ganging up together and getting a group think mentality about this situation. Let's have the person that you're speaking about be in the room when you discuss this. So when did Kyle tell Dorit about this situation? Was it at the store, or was it when she came back from the powder room or whatever?
Yeah, I think she brought it up to the woman while she was in the washroom, and then told Dorit when she came back.
And I still don't understand how this is useful or helpful.
Yeah, especially in a group setting.
Not helpful at all. So Kyle's on her way to now next scene to her new store. Her new store is in La Quinta. Her dogs are coming with her. Dorit isn't coming because she's experiencing these panic attacks, et cetera, et cetera. She's going to come a little bit later. She was supposed to be driving up with Kyle. So the girls, I don't know where they met, but Lisa, Garcelle, Erica Jane, Diana all met up at, no, maybe not Diana, but a group of them met up at one place, and they all got roadies. So we got roadies again. They're taking roadies on their trip. So it's an alcohol beverage to travel with. I was saying when we were talking about this on New Jersey that I call them a traveler, but in the States, it seems like they call them a roadie. So Crystal, Sutton, and Diana are actually staying at the La Quinta Resorts, and that resort is where they filmed The Bachelorette, the Tayshia Adams and Claire Crawley season in 2020. That was the first season that was filmed during COVID, and so I was like, I know this resort, La Quinta, and so that's where they're staying. And all the rest of the girls are at Kyle's house. They're going to be staying with Kyle. So Crystal does talk to Sutton about the comments that were being made on their drive to La Quinta, I believe. And I appreciate that Crystal is actually giving Sutton the benefit of the doubt. But one thing that I've been learning about how Crystal deals with things is she appears to be over it and then actually isn't over it. And so, like, you'll see, like, well, I'm nice to Sutton right now, but I don't know if she's gonna do me wrong. Like, she's kind of like, she's not fully forgiven Sutton or moved on, like she said that she's moved on. She still has some harboring feelings, and we do learn at the end of this episode that she has a lot of feelings for Sutton that's still lingering, even though she's been pretending like she's moved on.
I don't think really. I got a different perspective.
Go ahead.
I didn't think that she had lingering feelings for Sutton. I think the feelings are about everybody else because what I thought she was talking
at the end of the episode, lingering finger, like for everybody.
Yeah, because when we can get there when we get there.
Okay, no problem. So Sutton does mention, though, she can't with guns. She relays the story about when she's 14 years old, that, her family house was burglared, and then also her father had taken his life with a gun. And so she has had traumatic experiences that she's compartmentalizing in her own way. And how come we can't have any compassion for the fact that she doesn't want to talk about these situations, or she doesn't feel comfortable responding to these situations? So
Or
I'm
that
team.
she just does that trauma response where she checks out. Like, I think that's valid too. Like, that is a valid response.
Exactly. It's definitely a valid response. And so we finally get to the actual event space, and we see beforehand Kyle organizing it with her partner. It's actually like a nice store. I don't know if I like all the styling and the designs of
Yeah,
some of
it's
the
not my
outfits,
style at all. Yeah.
but some of the pieces were quite nice, and it's an opportunity for people to come in, do some shopping. Nice little store opening. Definitely it would be an event to go to for sure, and I like that they have this type of event to be offering us, because we were deprived of events over on New Jersey.
Yeah.
So when we're at this event, Sutton does ask Dorit how she's doing, and Dorit is like, as good as you can be. But then Dorit brings up the fact that Sutton says these things about, put a gun to her head. Like, she actually brings it up, and Sutton, I think, validates her response in that moment, being like, I've had a traumatic experience. Sometimes I say things that are not correct in the moment. I'm really sorry if that hurt you or offended you, and like, I'm sorry. She apologizes multiple times, and it seems as though Dorit accepts this apology.
Yeah, it was a sincere apology. And I think Dorit accepted it as a sincere apology.
Thank goodness, because
But
we don't want to be talking about this the whole season, I hope. We probably will. So Diana is actually buying Crystal clothes at this event, and I'm like, that would be really a dream come true, that like my super rich friend is deciding to buy me a whole bunch of stuff on their way to La Quinta. Crystal was mentioning like, oh, have you ever shopped at this outlet, this designer outlet mall or whatever? And
that
Diana's like,
was funny.
I don't know what that is. But I love the fact that she has the experience of designers and stylists just send her things to her house. She keeps what she likes and pays for it, and sends back what she doesn't. I'm like, that's a great shopping experience.
It's like
I think.
Anna Shea on Bling Empire.
Oh, I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh, it's boring.
It is. Oh. Well, I'll still be watching it. So after the event is over, they are at Kyle's home and they're having dinner, and that the catered food I thought was better than the sit down dinner at Harry's birthday. It
Yeah,
looked
absolutely.
delicious. The tuna tartare, and like, it was just like a whole spread. It was a buffet style, but like the food looked absolutely delicious. So Kyle definitely knows how to make a spread. 100%. Ooh, hold on. So DM Rock says, Will's Miss ex-wife is a friend of the show. I'd heard this, but I forgot about this. So she's probably be showing up soon. I definitely remember there being some more ethnic representation, and somebody that maybe could be a friend of Garcelle's. So I forgot. So thank you for the reminder.
Cherie
And
Zampino. Okay.
does it say what episode she's coming in?
No.
No, that's okay. So while they're all chatting, Garcelle, this is where I'm saying kind of stirs the pot with like, it's time to air out the truth. It's like, so everybody, you guys were all talking about Sutton when she wasn't here. How about we bring up that same conversation now that she is here? And like, I like Garcelle. How you kind of started this is a little bit of a shit stir, but I'm fine with it.
No, but how else should it have been started?
Oh, I know. But like, you could just see like Kyle being like, oh, I said everything that I needed to say to Sutton to her face. And I'm just like, she has such a bark in her confessionals and when she's talking to the other women about people. But as soon as she gets confronted
Yeah,
to
exactly.
be honest in the moment, she's
Yeah.
like, like even with Erica Jane last season, she
Yeah.
felt the type of way about like not knowing the full truth and all the stories, and kind of was like second guessing things. And then as soon as Erica Jane, if you're my friend, you have to stand up for me. You don't need to know the truth. You just have to support me. And she's like, okay, of course. I'm not going to ask you anything about it.
And I think that's why I like that Garcelle brought it up in a group setting.
Yes, it's a way to bring it up, but I know though that it's going to be a little bit of a pot stirring moment, but I'm very happy that she brought it up. And so this does, escalate into a bit of a situation. They both are all saying like, she apologized and like, we're fine with it, and Dorit accepts the apology, and so it kind of seems like things are going in the right direction. Sutton says something about, I'm very what's the word she used? Honorable? No, I'm very she said a particular word about like her character, and then Miss
Very genuine.
Genuine. And Erica Jane starts snickering.
Yeah.
She is a piece of work. Like, you're snickering that she's not a genuine person because she called you out on the fact that there's inconsistencies in your story, and
No, I think I thought what she was calling out is like, oh yeah, that like genuine. Yeah, like that's one way to put it. Like maybe like I think what Erica is saying is that Sutton is too genuine.
Okay. Too genuine, being like, you calling it genuine, I call it being nosy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay. I mean, regardless of the fact that she's snickering at what and not in agreement with how she's portraying herself, and that's not her experience of Sutton. And so that kind of brings in a little bit more like escalated energy. And then Crystal is starting. How did Crystal get into that like feeling attacked? Like, was she just reminded of how everybody was ganging up on her? Or was it the fact that they just let it go, and with her they kept on going on and on with it? Like, I didn't even understand how she got to, I gotta leave here. Like, I just don't feel safe in this space anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think her whole thing was like that, basically what she was saying was that Kyle and Lisa will only validate the feelings of people if they can empathize or relate to those feelings, whereas nobody accepted what, like Crystal was very clear. I feel violated. She didn't say I was violated. She said I felt violated. And I think that's a totally genuine response. And I would feel violated too if I was her. And I think that no one would accept her version of like no one would accept how she felt. They were just like, absolutely. Oh, that's too strong a word, blah, 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 blah. But in this scenario, they just let it go really easily. Mm-hmm. And so I think she felt really triggered.
Yeah, well, she definitely said that she felt triggered because the episode with the jacket, bringing back the jacket after she's having some issues with Sutton, and anybody walking in on somebody that's naked, it is a violation of privacy, even if it was unintentional. That is what it is. I once had my cell phone stolen, and I felt violated.
Oh, I've had the same experience too, and that is exactly how I felt.
And so, sorry, like you can't decide how somebody reacts to an experience that you were involved in. It's
or
just
how they feel about anything.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So, it kind of escalates a little bit there, and Erica is blaming Sutton for everything. And I just don't understand sometimes how they can't see clearly what's going on. But pretty much at that point, Diana's playing the bodyguard. He's protecting Crystal. So Crystal, Sutton, and Diana leave, and the rest of the women are staying there. That's when Erica is still not really accepting Sutton for who she is. And we end this episode kind of at this space where they don't understand where Crystal's coming from. They've kind of accepted what Sutton has said about the Dorit situation, and Erica is back on a tangent about like Sutton and how Sutton treated her last season. So it hasn't been resolved yet, and I don't think we'll jump back here. So I'm sure that there's going to be another opportunity to have this exact same conversation.
I mean, I'm confused about why Diana left. Like,
I think they were all staying at La Quinta, so I think that they decide to all just leave together, and also. Diana, I believe, is Crystal's friend, or like she's the liaison. So
I thought she was Lisa Rinna's friend, which is why she was at Harry's dinner.
I think though Crystal might have brought her into or maybe she's better friends with Crystal.
Okay.
because like she didn't buy Lisa clothes, she bought Crystal clothes. Crystal staying with them over at the resort. So I think that she left because of the resort situation. They all just left together.
Yeah.
And she did say that she's playing bodyguard for Crystal.
Yeah.
So that is pretty much what happened in the episode. Do I want to know? Yes, I do want to know. I believe I know some of them. I believe Kyle is a Capricorn. Lisa Runa, I believe, is a Cancer.
Wait, did you catch that moment between
yes.
Kyle and Diana where Diana's like, I'm a Leo on the 23rd of August?
Yes. Now, I have to say that it is possible because, for instance, I know somebody that is a Pisces born on February 18th. So sometimes, depending on where the angle is of all like the planets and stuff like that, that she could be 29 or 30 degrees Leo on the 23rd. But I'd have to know her exact birth date, time, and place to log that in. But 99% of the time, the 23rd of August is going to be Virgo. I mean, I understand them not wanting to be a Virgo. Sorry, any Virgos out there. I'm sorry. But I feel like she might be more of a Virgo though than she is a Leo. I know she's saying like, oh, like a lion roar, but Virgos tend to be very perfectionist. They like things in particular order, and she does seem to be a little bit of a perfectionist. And so I'm going to do some research, and I'll find out all their signs for next week. We'll be able to talk a little bit more about other stuff because we're not trying to jam pack 3 episodes into an hour and 20 minutes. But we did it. So did we miss anything other than the zodiac signs of Diana? No?
I think we got it all.
I think so too. I think we're on a good track. I'm happy that it'll just be one episode to talk about next week.
Yeah.
I feel like it won't be as pulling teeth as I found that New Jersey was by the end of it. And so I'm happy to be covering this. So thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thank you, DM Rocks and Jelly Donut, for being our support system here, keeping us on track with some of the information if we get it off or wrong. Okay, so DM Rocks says Erica, Dorit, and Lisa are all Cancers. Okay, that's probably why I don't vibe with them. Kyle is a Capricorn. Don't necessarily vibe with Capricorns. Diana Sutton are Virgos. Interesting. Garcelle is a Sagittarius. That's Crystal's an Aquarius. So am I going to have to like her now? Oh my goodness. Like I rarely meet an Aquarius that I don't enjoy. But I do love a good Sagittarius. I want to see more of Sutton signs because I want to see what her whole chart looks like. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, DM Rocks. It makes sense though why they all kind of group together the way that they do.
Yeah.
Like Cancers all kind of see, that's actually something important. So Cancers are always going to come from an emotional place. And so that very much makes sense as to why that she didn't understand where Crystal was coming from. Because Crystal is an Aquarius. She's going to be coming from a matter of fact, like, this is how I felt. This is what was going on. And this, Lisa is going to be triggered by these words because it's going to make her feel something emotionally. And emotionally, she's triggered by the word feeling violated. And Crystal is going to be heady about how she explains it. And so I think that that's also why they're not able to see eye to eye, because they don't have the same language in how they experience life. So very important. Thank you, DM Rocks, very, very, very much. And thanks everybody for watching. So please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you liked it. If you don't like it, the downvotes are good too for the algorithm. And please leave a comment as to who is your favorite and least favorite housewives of this franchise. You can even rank them all in order. I would love to know how you feel about each of the housewives.
I'm just going to take a photo of us.
Yay. Of course. Okay. And we'll see you guys next Thursday at noon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.